And then we do not have our chair. Roger was elected chair at the last meeting, so I'm going to hand it off to Councilmember Rodenberg to chair this one, unless there's any objection.
That
Perfect.
means I'm going to have to bring up the documents.
And Tiffany, it looks like our first applicant is in the attendees as a phone-in caller. So for this one, you'll have to hover over the number there and just press allow to talk. And that will give them access to at least be heard in the meeting. So we won't be able to see.
Oh, there
them.
it is, attendees. Okay.
Yep.
Allowed to talk. You want me to click it now?
Yep.
Okay.
And it looks like they are muted. So when you call into a Zoom meeting to unmute, just press *6 on your phone. Oh, it looks like we have 2 people on now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Let me go ahead and promote Stace to the panelist because I know he's our applicant. So we'll see if he's on the phone and on the computer here.
Okay, I did promote to panelist. Not seeing anything happening. Oh, there.
Okay.
Josh, are all the applicants going to be on at the same time?
No, they're scheduled 20 minutes apart. So
Okay,
there should be
good.
some. They can be on at the same time. This is an open public meeting. So
No, you just let me know when you want to get started.
says Stace is connecting to audio. So let's see if you can get connected here.
There he is.
We can see you now, but we can't hear you still.
Not hearing.
No, the audio is not coming through from on your end, Stace. If you're on your phone, if you can press, I think it's *6 on your phone, that should unmute your phone line. Looks like you're on both.
You want me to click ask to unmute? Will that give him will that give him a button?
I'm not sure what that does on the phone.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, that's true. Phone.
Stace, if you have your phone there with you, it looks like you're still connected by phone. Yeah. If you can, on your phone, just dial *6, and that will allow you to talk through your phone.
What if he just hangs up his phone? No.
No, well, it's saying he has audio on his computer now, but that's not working either. So let's see if I can figure out something to do on this end. Hang on a second. Stace, try entering *9 into your phone. Yeah, that's not working either. That should raise your hand. Oh, yeah, we got it on there. Well, let's see. How about if we just ask you the questions and you can write the answers and put them on your screen? How about that?
Josh, we could call him on his phone. Sometimes I've done that where you're actually talking to him live on his phone.
Yeah, let me try that from my speakerphone here, Stace. I'll give you a call on your phone and we'll see if we can get you that way. Hold on just a second here.
Computers are wonderful when they work.
Yeah.
This is Steve.
Oh, hi. Can you hear me all right?
I think so. Finally. Sorry about that.
Okay. Can the rest of you hear Stace okay?
So far.
I think so. I've done Zoom calls many times. I don't know why I'm having trouble with that.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we're set and running. So,
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to this special meeting of the Board and Commission Candidate Review. This morning, throughout the morning, we have interviews with 3 different candidates. The first candidate that is going to be interviewed is Stace Gordon. I would like to say for the record that in attendance is myself, Lee Rodenberg, a City Council member, Jenny Wook, Council member, Tiffany Ailman, who is the Assistant City Clerk, Josh Stecker, who is the City Clerk, Matthew Keogh, who is the Parks Commission. I'm sorry, is the Parks Director. Stace, the first question we have, and I'll just read it to you, and you can answer them at will. So the first question is we'd like you to introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to be on the Parks Commission.
I'm having a real difficult time understanding it. I think the question is just to introduce myself.
Yes, I'll repeat it. Please introduce
So,
yourself. Please introduce
I'll
yourself
try to do
and let
that
us know
briefly.
why you'd like to be on the Parks Commission.
I missed that. I'm sorry.
Stace, maybe you can hear me a little bit clearer because I'm here on the phone. Am I coming through okay for you?
Sure,
What was
Josh.
that? Sorry.
With this candidate, Josh, would you like to lead the questions then?
I can do that. Stace, can you hear me okay? This is Josh.
A little better. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I've got you on speakerphone. So I'll go ahead and ask the questions on behalf of the council members so we have a little bit clearer connection.
Okay.
So the first question, oops, let me just pull it up again real quick. It is, please introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to be on the Parks Commission.
Okay, great. Yeah, Stace Gordon. I've been in Gig Harbor about 6-7 years. I'm in the process of retiring right this week from my position as the HR manager at the Tacoma paper mill for Westrock, was the Simpson mill for years. And for most of my career in HR, and I like working with people and trying to, help folks be better leaders, what have you. I wanted to get more involved with the Gig Harbor community. And so I thought the Parks Commission was a great place to do that and impact the community a little bit and work with parks. My early history as an Eagle Scout and always had a keen interest in the outdoors and just people being able to take advantage and share the outdoors without damaging it and sort of coexisting with it. So I thought the parks would be a great place to do that, and so I'm looking forward to that.
Great. Second question on the list is, do you have any knowledge of the Parks Commission and its role?
That broke up. Could you repeat that? Sorry.
Do you have any knowledge of the Parks Commission and its role?
A little bit. I did interview for a commission seat a few months ago, last year. And so I'm familiar a little bit with the roles of a volunteer group that advises the city and the mayor about how best to manage that asset for the city and how you take advantage of and maintain the parks and improve them.
Great, thank you.
But
And council members, if you have any follow-up questions, just go ahead and jump in, but I'll go down the list here. Third question, what is your favorite Gig Harbor City Park? Why, and how could it be improved?
Okay. Yeah, the Crescent Creek Park is near where I did live. I live a little further away from that now, but that park really I like in that it sort of offers something for everyone. It's a larger park and it has places for recreation like volleyball or tennis. It has places to picnic and it has places to walk. And so I think the versatility and that sort of wide appeal makes it a great park and sort of right near downtown from a location standpoint. So I really like the way that park's done and continue to sort of grow and enlarge. And I'd like to see it just, continue to be able to add features that people like and have a lot of the ways to make that space even more appealing to a more diverse group. So that's probably the park I've spent the most time in.
All right. Question number 4, what do you feel are the major issues the Parks Commission should be focusing on?
Yeah, I'm not aware of a particularly, controversial issue as much as, just like any other, government entity, you've got some limited resources. You can't do everything that takes care of everyone's needs, but how do you best apply the resources that you do have? And how do you make sure that you're spending the money that the city has in the best possible way and please the most people possible? So I just think, how do we continue to make them, more accessible to everyone, and where there's opportunities to add a feature or add something that people want to take advantage of. How do we do that?
All right. Next question is, how important do you feel that public input should be to drive your decisions?
Well, obviously the parks exist for the citizens of the community, and so if we're off on a personal agenda and not listening to our constituents and to the citizens of the city, we've sort of missed the boat. So I think that's vital that we listen to what people want. I think always the challenge is you can find 1,000 different points of view, and how do you balance that? And how do you sort of appeal to the most people possible, within again the budget that any government might have. So, but I think you absolutely have to get some input. And obviously, having volunteers on the commission is one good way to do that. And then I certainly think that the commissioners need to listen and talk to people. Then they're, as they go through their daily lives, just what do people want to see and get input. So I think that's absolutely critical.
Great, thank you. Next question is, the Parks Commission meets monthly on the first Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. Do you have any other commitments that would keep you from attending the meetings?
I know. I'm sitting on a board member newly on Gig Harbor Now, the digital newspaper, but that meets on the next Wednesday, so that'll be perfect.
Okay. And do you have anything you'd like to add or any questions for us about the Parks Commission?
No, I just, is there anything in particular, particular skill set that the commission's looking for, given the makeup of your current commission? Are there certain backgrounds or skills you're looking for that would round out the group, or anything in particular I can talk more to?
That sounds like a good question for Matthew.
Thanks for that question. The Parks Board only has 4 members at this time, so we're a little bit low in the diversity of what we would like to have, but that's the ultimate goal, is to have people of different backgrounds. And I think you spoke to this already, but trying to find the public interest. So if we can get folks who are consensus builders, that's very important to us. And if we can have people who represent different parts of our community, that's also very important. So I wouldn't put a geographic question on it as much as that broad representation is our goal. I will say that I appreciate your human resources background. You don't generally advise on operations of the city, but just that keen awareness of how to use resources, that's actually something we don't have expertise on the commission at this time.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, clearly I do currently a lot of negotiating and mediating and bargaining and things like that as part of my job. So I'm used to how do you get, in my case, 400 people marching in a similar direction? So that's not always easy, but it's certainly important. So I'm used to that often.
If it helps you to know, we do have a public works director among our staff. We have a parks professional. I mean, not on our staff, the commission. We have a parks professional with a finance background. Our chair is very experienced on the commission. And finally, we have a very well-educated retiree out of Heron's Key.
Okay, great. Very good.
All right. Any follow-up questions from the council members?
Yes, I'd like to ask Stace. Stace, are you familiar with the sports complex and the most recent controversy having to deal with the sports complex? And I'm wondering what you think about that, the complex in general, and if you see that there's any negative impacts to the city if we move forward, when we move forward with that sports complex.
Yeah, I'm only peripherally familiar with that. I haven't done a lot of research on that debate. I'm familiar with, where it's, slated to go in and that kind of thing next to the Y there, I guess. I think there's a lot of interest in any community to have facilities for people to play competitive sports. That's just more and more popular, it seems, with, kids and adults. And so I think there probably is a textbook example of you can't sort of please everyone. And, the world's moving towards electric cars, but there's drawbacks. And, the clean energy, all that clean is an example of there's some controversy and nothing's perfect. But I think that kind of complex certainly must appeal to a wide group of folks. And so I don't know the details of that. It seems like the kind of thing that a lot of people would enjoy and a good place to put resources. But there's always going to be some objections. So I think that's how do you handle those and how do you frame those so that everybody feels represented.
Thank you. That's a good answer. Thank you.
I don't have any other questions, but Stace, thank you so much for being here today. And thanks that was a really good answer to that last question, because it's a bit of a controversy. And so I think it needs to be looked at from all sides. So thank you.
Thank you very much. And thanks for helping me through the technical problems today. I appreciate your patience with that.
Yeah. So we should be able to finish up our interviews for the vacancies that we have today, and probably either today or tomorrow we'll be reaching out to let the applicants know if they've been recommended for appointment or not. So you'll probably be hearing from myself or from Tiffany here in the very near future.
Okay. Well, thanks everybody for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, we had Ben on for a minute, but it looks like he dropped off.
So Josh, would you like me to ask the questions to the next candidate then?
Yeah, we should be back on normal procedure here. I will promote Ben to a panelist. Ben knows the Zoom drill, so should be good there.
Morning, Ben.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning. Good to see you all.
Welcome to this special meeting, Ben. As you know, this is candidate review of Parks Commissioners. And as the process is, we have a list of questions for you that you could answer off the cuff. And I'm acting as chair. Roger Henderson, the chair, is not with us right now. So if it's all right with you, Ben, we'll just get started.
Absolutely. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, the first question is, just to introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to continue to be on the Parks Commission.
I'd like to start off with, welcoming or thanking you all for taking the time to be here, but introducing myself. So I've been a lifelong Gig Harbor resident, product of the Peninsula School District, and then went on to TCC Tacoma and then UW Tacoma. So I'm, locally sourced, about as good as you can get. But Gig Harbor means so much to me and my family, my extended family. We've been here for decades now, and I look forward to just being involved in the community, and I see the Parks Commission as a great avenue to do that, and really provide input into what happens in our community. And parks are near and dear to so many people, and it's a great opportunity to be able to do that. I was previously on the Planning Commission for the City of Gig Harbor back in 2010 and 11. I was on the Thea Foss Waterway Development Authority's Design Review Board from 2015 to 2020. And I am on the Parks Commission, and I'm looking to serve my third term now.
Okay. Well, Ben, the next question is, since you are incumbent,
So thank you. I'm happy to answer that. He can hear us now. I'm happy to answer that, to ask that question.
Pardon me, Jenny?
So I'm happy to ask question number 2.
Okay, good.
So now that he can hear us, we had a little problem with the first applicant. So, but now that you're here, I think we can do this together.
Gotcha.
Do you have any knowledge of the Parks Commission, which you do, and its role? And I'll just go ahead and hook on to that. When was the first year you were on the Parks Commission?
So yes, I do. I'm familiar with the Parks Commission. So I'm 6 years in now. So 2016 was my first year on the Parks Commission. Yeah, I was appointed by Mayor Guernsey, and I got to serve with Sarah McDaniel as chair, and Marlene, and a lot of good folks that I've had the opportunity to absorb a lot from, and then also challenge ideas and take in ideas and work collaboratively with. So
were you
Yeah.
involved in the 2016 PROS plan?
I was not. That was just prior to me coming on board. That was adopted by, I think, the previous group of Parks Commissioners.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah. But I have read it thoroughly. I have read it thoroughly. in updating the recently adopted PROS plan, that was a lot of consideration went into, what was previously there, and what community wanted, in past, and how we could incorporate that into the 2022, the most current version.
So Jenny, were you saying that my audio is not coming through?
No, I was saying that the audio from our first applicant,
Oh.
we had problems with the audio from the first applicant, but I hear you loud and clear, Councilmember
Okay.
Rodenberg. I'm happy to hear you loud and clear.
Good.
This
And the
is-
next question, Ben, is what is your favorite city park? Why is it your favorite, and how do you think that it could be improved?
So I've got a couple different answers to this one. I mean, Crescent Creek is the one I grew up in. It's, holds that nostalgic factor for me. I know Scansey and Jerisich is kind of the heart of the city. So I really, really like that one, just because it provides so much for our community, and there's just so much like vibrant sound there, and there's just so much happening always down there. It's just so great to have that right in the central part of our downtown. But honestly, Wilkinson's becoming one of my favorites. It's a nice, quiet park. There's limited parking, which kind of helps, alleviate with the crowds, helps mitigate the crowds. It's got a nice, quiet holly orchard, a historic holly orchard, and the gardens that are there are impressive. Impressive. They spend many, many hours down there working very hard on that garden. So to answer your question on what one could be improved, I always stick with Wilkinson on the improvement factor. That one still, I feel like, has a ways to go. I mean, I know that I said that the parking helps mitigate the crowds there, but I feel like parking can be improved. The sidewalks near there could be improved. The bathrooms could be improved. I feel like there's a few parks like that where it's like, okay, we have the park, but there's still more to achieve.
Sure. Thank you.
That's good to know. Thanks. I needed go visit Wilkinson, I guess, and then look at it a little bit more closely. So thanks for your input there. What do you feel are the major issues the Parks Commission should be focusing on?
I view the Parks Commission as, not only a platform for the general public to, have an avenue to voice their concerns and opinions, in addition to city council meetings, obviously, but to more, I don't want to say informally, but, have a more almost one-on-one basis with, the commission to be able to really absorb and hear out the community. I really like that aspect of the Parks Commission itself, in that I feel like it provides the public an opportunity to really be engaged with what's happening with the park system. As far as the commission, I mean, it's kind of evolved from parks manager to parks manager and council to council as far as what the Parks Commission's role is. I know our duties and policies are set out, but I feel like it kind of evolves depending on who is a parks manager, who's in council, who's in mayor. So, being able to be flexible in, what you feel like your role is, I think is important being a parks commissioner. Because, we have 3 parks managers in 6 years and 5 city administrators in 6 years. So being flexible has been really important to be able to do on the Parks Commission. There is a general consensus of visions and what we all would like the Parks Commission to be a part of and to do, but working through that and getting everybody on the same page has had its trials and tribulations, and but I look forward to those challenges, honestly. Being able to work with people and work through issues and problems and stuff like that has really provided a lot of, I don't know, self-fulfillment for me, I guess.
Sure. Well, I'm hoping that the fact that you had to be flexible and the commission had to be flexible, I hope for the most part, those days are behind us now, that we've got some stability. And as you say, it's evolving. From my perspective, I think it's evolving in the absolute correct direction. And appreciate the new parks director as well as your leadership on the commission. So I really look forward to what's in store for us in the future.
I mean, and just like you said off the cuff, I agree with you 100%. I think Matthew has been a great, resource and hire. He's, just taken the bull by the horns and run with it. He's been so great and instrumental in really formulating some of these visions that the Parks Commission has and hopes to fulfill. So I do want to recognize Matthews.
So now you can be more focused instead of worrying about being more flexible. One of the next questions is, how important do you feel public input should drive your decisions and the decisions of the commission?
I think it should be one of the highest priorities of the Parks Commission in the way they formulate, their recommendations. Like I said, I view the Parks Commission as, a real platform for the public to be engaged with the parks and public works and stuff like that. And so, being able to hear that and incorporate that into recommendations and, provide those recommendations to council, I feel like that's what people want, and then to be able to feel like they've been heard. And so I really feel like the community engagement aspect of the Parks Commission should be and is one of the highest priorities of the Parks Commission.
Can I have a follow-up to that do you feel then that the pros plan and the surveys that we take, is that a good way to reach out to our citizens and find out what they want for our parks?
I think it was an incredibly productive way to do it. I mean, the amount of engagement that we were able to ascertain from that, hundreds and hundreds of responses. I don't know if we've had an experience like that where we've gotten that much feedback from the community. So I think it was an incredibly effective way to reach out to the community and ask for their opinions. But I also have noticed, I have also heard of the council like manning a table, the city manning a table. I think that's a great idea to really, put someone out there and feel like the community can approach them and talk to them about issues. And that's a great idea, and I am 100% behind that. But yes, the pros plan surveys was incredibly effective in my view.
Good. The Parks Commission meets on the first Wednesday at 5:30. Do you have any other plans on that night? Or anything that would interfere with that?
You know, I was thinking back. Okay, so I think in the 6 years I've been on the Parks Commission, I've had to miss one meeting.
Good on you.
So,
Good
yeah.
on you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
So not too many issues run into that.
Yeah.
There's even been instances where I've like, I mean, just because I'm that kind of person where it's like, so during Parks Appreciation Day, which is a Parks Commission sponsored event and city sponsored event, I was up in Chimacum and I just, you know, drove back that morning of and then drove back up to Chimacum just to make sure I was a part of that and didn't miss out on that. So
Thank you, Ben. There's just one more question, and the question is, do you have anything you'd like to add for this committee? And do you have any questions for us about the Parks Commission?
Not too much. I mean, as far as like I remember previously it was a subcommittee that you guys had, or a committee of interviewees and stuff like that. So is this going to be, I think that's probably still an evolving thing. And so maybe I shouldn't ask that, how the interview process will go from here on out, or is that more of a?
It will be similar to this.
Okay.
Every time we need to do an interview process, council will pick 3 people to join that interview team. We'll probably keep using the same questions unless there's changes that they want to make, but it'll be pretty much a similar format. Just different people asking, different people on the interview panel each time.
Yeah, it won't be a small, in fact, we just passed the ordinance. It won't be a small subcommittee. It'll be a mixture and not necessarily random choices, but it'll be different council members at each interview for all the commissions.
Great, awesome. Other than that, you know, what I mentioned earlier about Matthew and how great he's been, and I really look forward to, you know, having an opportunity to work with the new city administrator, Linda, So yeah, other than that, thank you so much for your time as well. I know, you know, that's a big commitment being on city council, and so I truly thank you.
So we,
Thank
you know,
you.
we had one work session with Parks. And how many work sessions would you like to see Parks and Council having during the year?
If I had my way, Jenny,
Yeah.
we
No, I
would
wanna
meet every
know.
month.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But you know, I time is expensive, and you know, everybody's
Yeah.
time is, you know, I want to respect everybody's time, but you know, I once every 6 months, in my
Yeah.
opinion, would probably be plenty, you know, twice a year. That way, you know, we can relay some of the stuff pre-budget when you guys do go to your budget, and then, you know, maybe one other one when we go to write our work plan or something like that. And, you know, so we can all be on the same page. I feel like the strategic work plan, Matthew and I have been talking about that and how we're going to work through that, the city council strategic work plan, and incorporate that into our work plan, and, you know, what that might look like to work in conjunction with one another.
Do you think it'd be worthwhile to have someone from the Parks Commission up here before council every so often and give us an update without a formal work session, study session on any questions or anything you want to tell us about? Would that be worthwhile to you?
That could be incredibly effective, I think. I mean, a great avenue for communication between the Parks Commission and City Council, and to really help relay those, and, you know, any concerns within the community that, you know, we're hearing on our end. I know you guys still hear stuff, you know, from your regular meetings as well. So I think it could be an incredibly effective way of communication.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And I have one thing. In an upcoming work session, the city council is going to discuss some of this most recent controversy about the sports complex.
Sure.
And there are members on council that are newer to the city and don't understand the history in the last 10 years of what it took to put that sports complex together. So I think it would be good if someone from the Parks Commission could sit in that work session just to kind of explain the history from the commission's point of view on that part of the sports complex.
I agree. I mean, a lot of meetings went into that, a lot of public input went into that. You know, and That one is a tricky one because I was pretty heavily involved in that one from the beginning, you
Sure.
know?
Well, no one would be better than, I think, to attend that meeting than yourself.
Yeah. But I mean, just from my experience working on the Ansich boathouse and the docks down there, you know, it's like that, I felt like that project was continually evolving from the time it started till the time it was built. Because there were, you know, and I think what we got, you know, from all the public input was a really great final product where it made a lot of people happy. And, you know, I mean, I think that's kind of where the sports complex is at this point. Yes, we have the master plan and we have, you know, all these plans, but I still feel like there's a part of the community who feels like it's not fitting for them. So I agree that, you know, maybe there could be an additional effort maybe, but I would be happy to, you
Yeah,
know,
well,
sit
my
in on
point
that.
is not so much to the additional outreach, but it is to educate the current council members that may not appreciate all the time and effort it's gone into it thus far. It's not like we thought about doing this last month. So
Right.
I think they need to know that from
Yeah.
a person like yourself.
I would be happy to, you know, relay and, you know, provide any additional information I can. You know, and that's certainly one thing that I've learned beyond the Parks Commission is that, you know, these are great ideas and they're so nice when they, you know, come to fruition. But a lot of times these ideas take so much time, so much time. You know, the first project I worked on was the honoring statue down at Austin Park, which, you know, as you know, is still not up. And so it's been 6 years for, you know, a statue, and it's like, wow, really that long just to, you know, get a statue up, you know? So that really puts things in perspective for me. That was the very first meeting I attended for the Parks Commission. And, you know, it's like, okay, we're still waiting on that. And so that's one thing I've learned beyond the Parks Commission is that, you know, the gears of government just move slowly. And so, you know, and so a lot of people miss out and are late to the game, or, you know, it's like, don't understand how much time has already been invested in this. And it's like, well, why do you do this? And it's like, well, that was, you know, 6 years ago and, you know, somewhere in the process, but that's not to say that that can't be undone or changed at that point, you know? So, you know,
Birthing
that's
these
one thing I hope.
projects, birthing these projects is not always easy, is it?
No, it is not. It is not.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing that I would certainly hope that I could bring to that, you know, informational session or what have you, is, you know, not only bringing that background of information, but an open mind, you know, bringing an open mind to those. And, you know, it's like, not to say that this project's done and set in stone, but hey, you know, is there room for improvement, you know?
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time this morning, Ben. Josh, would you like to explain to Ben some of the timing about the announcement and when the selections will be made?
Yeah, we should wrap up all the interviews this morning for the vacancies, and we'll Tiffany or I will probably notify you in the next day or two what the recommendation is from this committee.
Great. Maybe one final question. Do we know how many applicants? So in addition to my seat, I think there was 3 total seats you were interviewing for, is that correct?
Yeah, we have 3 applicants today that we're interviewing, so.
Okay. Is that including myself then?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, yeah, thank you so much for your time, you guys. I appreciate it. Good to see you all. Tiffany, nice to see you and meet you.
You too.
Yeah. Thank you for your
Thanks,
communication.
Ben. Thanks for your commitment to the parks in Gig Harbor.
Thank you,
Absolutely
Ben.
good. It's an honor. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. I think the agenda says that it's a 10:40, but I think it's 11:40 for Les.
Oh, do we have a gap before the next one?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I can hang on here and double check, but
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure that was 11:40.
Yeah, I would have so much appreciated a heads up on that so I could manage my time better.
Sorry about that one. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how that happened because we had so many and then some people dropped off. So we had plugged them in different spots.
Well, that's
Okay.
funny. Did we have more applicants than these 3?
Oh,
No.
well, originally, but yeah, originally there
We
were,
had
but
at least 2 drop out, so.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to just go on recess and pause the recording and hop back on here at 11:40? Would that work for you?
That'll
Works
work.
for me.
Okay, yeah. Tiffany,
Want me to
go ahead.
pause it?
Yeah, just pause the recording.
I'd like to welcome everybody back to this special meeting of the Board and Commission Candidate Review Committee. This is Lee Rodenberg, and in the committee is Jenny Wook. We have in attendance Tiffany Ailment, Assistant City Clerk, Josh Stecker, City Clerk, Matthew Keogh, Parks Director, and next candidate up will be Les McCallum.
Hey, Les.
Hello,
Good morning, Les.
good morning.
Les, we have a series of questions here. There's just 7 questions. And Jenny and I will take turns asking them for you. So I thought maybe I'd just start off, and it's the first question is just allow you to introduce yourself and let us know why you'd like to be on the Parks Commission.
Well, I'm Les McCallum, been a longtime resident of Greater Gig Harbor, 45 years. And my wife and I lived in downtown Gig Harbor for the last 7 years. I have 2 college degrees, a bachelor in political science and a master's in public administration with an emphasis in city management from USC. Essentially, I'm looking for something, and this sounds trite, but that fits my interest and my skills and allows me to be involved. More recently, I've become more involved and my interest in the Parks Commission. I now have a garden at the Wilkinson Farm that I'm undertaking, although we need warmer weather and warmer earth. I've read the pros document, and I'm interested in being involved in that active participation down the road. Probably the biggest thing I can share additionally is that I, in my career, was involved in corporate relations for a large international company and was highly involved in groups that were policymaking groups. And so I think I have knowledge and skill of governing and contributing and able to help with that. That's kind of an entry. If you have other questions along those, I can tell you more about myself.
Thanks, Les. Do you have any knowledge of our Parks Commission and its role that it plays in the city?
From what I've read, and I've watched several meetings and read the pros document, even last night watched your April meeting, most of it. That's what's exciting about it, to tell you the truth. There's a lot of future activity and plans that have been identified, and it sounds like some pretty aggressive new development opportunities. And I think I can contribute to it with a group, even though it's advisory to the council in that respect.
Great, thank you.
Les, this is going to be a tough one for you since you live downtown.
Uh-huh.
What is the favorite Gig Harbor park? Why? And what would you do to see it improved?
Good. It's very close. I live in the Edgewater conduits downtown. In fact, the picture behind Councilmember Wook's head could have been taken from my deck. And so I'm surrounded by, I counted them yesterday, 9 parks that are within a half a mile of my house. Probably the newest one that's most exciting, it's waterfront, it's Ansich Park. And I'm glad to see the improvements that are being made and some policy issues that are get greater use. And I support that.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting to have that ribbon cutting the other week. So yeah, pretty nice, pretty nice. So what do you feel are the major issues the Parks Commission should be focusing on?
Well, I looked at several things that there's discussion about, and that's the future development, preservation, and growth. I am focused on policies that, and I think I could be helpful, that have to do with the funding and the development down the road. I have knowledge in that area, background in that area, and I can help contribute to those policies that do that. I'm particularly interested in waterfront things, obviously, because I live downtown, but I'm also excited about the sports complex that's being discussed and have a special interest in that area. I've been to virtually every park, and because my wife and I walk a great deal, and if the ones that I hadn't been to, I drove to. So
Great, thank you.
Les, how important do you feel that the public input in, for instance, our open houses and those kinds of things, how important do you feel that those discussions are in help you make your decisions going forward, having to do with the parks?
Excuse me. I think it's extremely important. In fact, probably the thing I was most impressed was the inventory and the analysis you did to come up with the pros plan. And you looked at need and interest by the public, great surveys, and I think they should have a vital role in policy and direction of the Parks Commission down the road.
Great.
Thank you.
The Parks Commission meets monthly on the first Wednesday at 5:30. Do you have any other commitments that would keep you from attending these meetings?
Not at all. Those are behind me. I'm recently retired. I used to travel a great deal. That would have been a real problem, but I'm retired, and I'm on a couple other boards, but they're very local, and that should not be a problem. I would be excited to be involved, and my first Wednesday evenings are totally clear.
You know, it's funny how once you retire, how your time fills up.
It does.
It does.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Thank
but
you.
at least at my house, we tend to put things off because hey, we got all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Les, do you have anything that you'd like to add to what we've talked about, or do you have any questions for us about the Parks Commission?
Not really. I was impressed with the meeting I watched last night on retrospect and so forth, and it sounded like a very dedicated group of people and that are on the commission. Looking forward to getting 2 new members they talked about in that meeting, and focused on, I remember a discussion about standards and how moving ahead in that respect. And I don't really have questions. I just think I contribute, and I'd like to share that contribution.
Thank you.
Great.
Matthew, have you any questions for us?
I do not. Thank you very much, though, for your time.
Yeah. Josh, would you like to explain to us kind of the timing of the selection and notification of such in the next couple of days?
Yeah, so I think after this interview, the committee will be able to make their recommendation, and council will be making appointments on May 9th. Either Tiffany or I will reach out to you, Les, probably the next day or two, and let you know what council have decided, and go from there.
Thank you very much for your time, Les. Certainly appreciate it, and your desire to contribute.
Thank you for interviewing me. I appreciate it.
You bet. Have a great day, Les.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Josh, you like to go through our procedures and where we go from here?
Yeah, so you have 3 applicants that you've interviewed, and you have 3 vacancies. So it's really up to you if you want to discuss or deliberate on any of the candidates, or you can make your recommendations.
So I'm
Entirely up
happy
to you.
to recommend Les McCallum, Stace Gordon, and Ben Coronado for these 3 positions.
And I agree with that. I think the Parks Commission would really like to get back to full strength.
Yeah.
They're very effective, even at their reduced rate. But gee, really look forward to what they can do when they have all these new members.
You know, and they
all
spoke
3 of
well, and I thought maybe that you know, forming some consensus. It seems like these new folks especially are bringing something new to the Parks Commission. So Matthew, do you have anything you want to comment on?
No, I'm just thrilled with their qualifications as well. And to honor Ben and his service may just be something to consider, given that he's stepping forward for his 3rd term.
And what would that look like to you?
You know, I don't have a lot of exposure here to how best to recognize volunteers, but to come forward with a third term is just almost newsworthy.
So yes, it is. And then that's very good. I think we just also recommended Charlie Glock Jackson from the Arts Commission recently. So, and then of course, I think they have to be voted on by the commission to be chairs again. Is that right, Josh?
That's correct.
So,
Well,
Yeah.
I think after they have their formal approval, I think it would be great to reach out to the local, couple of local news outlets, online and otherwise, to let them know about Ben and Charlie's contributions.
that's a great idea. We need to talk to Laura, I guess.
Yeah,
Or maybe Josh or Tiffany could talk to Laura once that has happened and they've been reelected to chair if they get that position again.
so is there anything else, Josh?
No, that's it. We will, Tiffany will let the applicants know that they've been recommended for appointment. Appointment will happen at the May 9th council meeting, and then they will come on for the next Parks Commission meeting after that.
And I just had a question for council members. I would like to reach out to these three individuals after Tiffany and or coordinate with Tiffany and just let them know that we are meeting this next Wednesday, that it may be of their interest to attend the meeting, given that they're being appointed or at least recommended for appointment. If you think that's getting ahead of council and not invite them to a meeting to attend, then I won't do so.
I think it's a great idea. Josh, what do you have? What is your concern? Do you have any concerns over that?
No, that's fine. They wouldn't be voting members, but it's an open public meeting, so everyone's welcome to attend.
I agree.
Yeah. Sorry, Lee.
Great.
I was going to say that one of the items is the council's strategic plan or the city's strategic plan, and Brenda would like to attend and talk to us about it. And with that in mind, I think the new members would benefit from that greatly.
And did I hear when Ben was here that the Parks Commission is also going to come up with their own strategic plan?
He's referring to their work program, which is something council is to approve on behalf of the commissions. So
Okay.
it's an agreement work program. He sometimes is changing the reference to it because Ben has been articulating an idea that it can be more than a single year program. So it would be a plan adopted by council for the year ahead, but a program would let them have like a 3-year goal.
And how does that feel with you?
I think it's really valuable. I think it allows these volunteers to realize that they're participating, their term is 3 years. So they're able to think beyond just the current year. And I picked up on their frustration to some extent that their work programs just get rolled to the next year and they really aren't practical for 1 year, as it were. So it doesn't feel real enough to them without a longer time frame.
I think it really aligns with the city's 2-year budget cycle now, as well as our strategic plan. It lets them make plans for beyond a year from now.
Right.
And you could plan much better. So I think that's great. I'm really glad to see. Did Ben come up with that, or was it commission in general?
I think Ben was the strongest endorser of that idea.
Good.
It's a good idea. And when do we have our work session with them? Do you know that?
It's not scheduled in part because of this work program is a bit delayed. We wanted the new commissioners to join in before they got any further with their work program.
Okay,
We were going to have a joint session with council for that review and ideally approval, negotiate over our work program, anything that council wants on it as well.
so when I was talking to Ben, I think one of the questions I asked, since we're really not having council members be the liaison with these commissions anymore, we won't have one for Parks Commission. Is it worthwhile? Is this something that you would like to see, to have a comment by Parks commissioner to council in between times of our work session?
Yeah, I have to say I'm accustomed to that, and I think there is a lot of value in it.
Good.
One drawback would be to have it just by de facto have it. I wonder if you would have commission reports as needed, or if you put it on every month. I've seen my commission chairs have to go to council every month when sometimes they don't have much to say.
Right, right. So I
We've
think it would be
already-
nice to have some guidance on that.
We have just adopted council guidance that says that's not what we're going to do necessarily, but we can certainly invite the chairs to come and report on topics when we're talking about it, but we're not going to make a regular habit of it.
Right, right. Yeah, so it would be, yeah, I guess then we need to know when to invite them. And would you be the one to say, we have something to talk about, or how does that, how would that happen then?
I'm kind of waiting to see if Josh has got some staff
yeah,
protocol in mind.
that would be totally up to Matthew when he's got an agenda item before council, like the sports complex study session, for example. That's his discretion to bring in the chair to join in with that.
So Josh, you're speaking of agenda items, which is a little more formal than maybe an update or a touch point. And I think, I wouldn't guess you would say that that's inappropriate, or are you just suggesting maybe that we write memos to the council?
If you have something from the Parks Commission that you need to report to the council on, then that's your job as the liaison to do that. So
Okay.
I don't know how often that's going to happen. I don't think Parks Commission has things monthly or bi-monthly that need to go to council for. Council gets copies of the Parks Commission minutes, so they're briefed on what's happening at the commission, but beyond that, it would be up to you to report to them. I don't know that much comes out of the Parks Commission that needs to be reported beyond that.
But, I think that in the recent past 2 or 3 years, or maybe 4, Parks Commission has kind of felt like they've been out of the loop and really not invited to play with us. And I think it would be great to reach out and let them know what an integral part they play overall with council and the way we think, and that we're all on the same team. So if we could get actually the chair from Parks to help, not necessarily help, but to assist Matthew in comments, I think it'd be great. And let's really bring them into the fold. They're such a great part of the city.
And that will largely depend on their work plan that they come up with and what they actually have to work on.
Okay.
The issue with the Parks Commission, as with all of our boards, is that they're OPMA bodies and they meet for 24 hours a year, and that's the extent of their technical involvement with the city. So
Oh, I see.
there are some pretty strict limitations on what you can accomplish as an advisory body. They're integral and they're important, but they're not. It's not a group that we can put to work for 80 hours a month to get stuff done for us.
Not like us council people.
Yeah, not like you.
All righty.
Okay, well, I don't have anything else. If anybody else doesn't, then we'll just conclude this, adjourn this meeting. Okay, and see some of you back here at 1 o'clock.
There you go. Have a great afternoon if we don't see you at 1.
Okay.
Bye.
Now.
Josh, do I stop or just pause? I can stop it, right?
Stop, yeah.
Okay, cool.